Welcome back to English Story, learning a place where you can listen, relax, and improve your English step by step. Today, I want to share a story that is close to my heart. It is called The Life I Want to Build. It's a story about dreams, choices, and the simple but powerful desire to make life meaningful. So, sit back, listen carefully, and imagine the journey as it unfolds. When I was a child, I often sat by the small window in my family's house and watched the sunset fade behind the hills. My father worked in a factory, and my mother stayed at home to take care of my younger sister and me. We did not have much, but our small home was filled with laughter and warmth. I remember how my mother would always say that life is not about what you have, but what you build with what you have. At that time, I did not fully understand her words. I was young, and all I wanted was to grow up fast, make money, and buy everything I could not have as a child. But as I grew older, I began to see how right she was. In high school, I was not a special student. I did not have the best grades or the most friends. I was quiet and shy, but I always had big dreams inside me. I wanted to create something with my life, something that could make me proud when I look back. Some of my classmates wanted to become doctors, some wanted to travel the world, and some just wanted to leave our small town. I did not know exactly what I wanted yet, but I knew one thing for sure. I wanted to build a life that mattered. My father often came home late, tired from his long shifts at the factory. Sometimes he would sit at the dinner table and talk about how he wished he had learned more when he was young. He said that knowledge gives you choices, and choices give you freedom. Those words stayed in my heart for many years. From then on, I promised myself that I would learn everything I could not, just from school, but from life itself. After graduation, I faced a big decision. Some of my friends went to college in the city, but my family could not afford that. So I decided to work first and save money. I got my first job in a small grocery store. It was not easy. I had to wake up early every morning, carry boxes, clean shelves, and serve customers with a smile, even when I was tired. But I learned a lot there. I learned how to talk to people, how to stay patient, and how to work hard even when no one was watching. Every night after work, I would walk home under the streetlights, thinking about the future. I did not want to stay in that same routine forever. I wanted something more, something that made me feel alive. I started to read books about people who changed their lives through discipline and courage. Their stories gave me hope. They made me believe that maybe, if I tried hard enough, I could build the life I dreamed of too. One evening, while closing the store, I met an old man who came in just before we locked the door. He looked tired but kind. He asked for a small loaf of bread and some milk. As I helped him, we started to talk. He told me that he had once been a teacher but had lost his job and was now living alone. Before he left, he said something I never forgot. He said, "Son, never stop learning. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about what he said. I realized that I was not just working for money, I was also working for experience, for knowledge, for a chance to grow. I decided to save every coin I could and take a small online course to improve myself. It was hard at first because I was tired after long days of work, but little by little, I began to see progress. I learned how to communicate better, how to manage time, and how to believe in myself again. Sometimes I looked at my reflection in the store window after closing time. I saw a young man who was not rich, not perfect, but full of hope. I knew I was still far from the life I wanted to build, but I had started the journey. And sometimes that first small step is the most important one of all. Months passed, and my routine slowly began to change. Every morning, before going to work, I spent 1 hour studying. I read books about personal growth, watched free lessons online, and practiced writing in English to express my thoughts better. My coworkers did not really understand why I did it. Some of them said I was wasting time, but I kept going because deep inside, I knew that learning was building the foundation for the future I wanted. One morning, my manager asked me to help with inventory reports. It was something I had never done before, but because of what I had been learning, I was ready to try. I organized the lists carefully, checked every number twice, and stayed late to finish. When I handed it in, my manager looked surprised and said I had done a great job. That was the first time someone at work really noticed my effort, and it gave me a sense of confidence I had not felt in a long time. After that, I started to help with more tasks. I was still young and did not have much experience, but I had a strong desire to improve. My manager began trusting me more, and within a year, I was promoted to assistant supervisor. It was a small position, but to me, it meant progress. I was moving forward, one step at a time. At night, when I walked home, I sometimes smiled to myself because I could finally feel that my life was slowly taking shape. But not everything was easy. There were moments when I felt lost and tired. There were days when my savings disappeared because of unexpected problems. And there were nights when I questioned whether my hard work would ever lead to something better. I remember one evening when I sat alone in the park, staring at the city lights, and wondered if people like me could ever truly change their lives. The wind was cold, but I stayed there for a long time, thinking. Then I remembered my father's words about choices and freedom, and I realized that giving up would only keep me where I was. I promised myself again that, no matter how long it took, I would keep building my life brick by brick. Eventually, I decided to leave the grocery store. I wanted to try something new, something that could teach me more. I applied for a job at a small company that sold household products. It was not a big company, but it had a friendly atmosphere and opportunities to learn. I started as an office assistant, helping with paperwork, answering phone calls, and preparing orders. At first, everything felt strange. I had to learn how to use a computer properly, how to write emails, and how to talk to customers politely and clearly. I made many mistakes, but each one taught me something valuable. My boss, a kind woman named Mrs. Turner, noticed that I was eager to learn. She gave me advice and sometimes lent me books about business and communication. I spent my lunch breaks reading them and taking notes. Slowly, my work became smoother and more professional. I learned how to solve problems calmly and how to listen before speaking. People started to come to me for help, and I was happy to assist them because it made me feel useful. One day, Mrs. Turner asked me what my dream was. I hesitated at first, but then I told her that I wanted to build a meaningful life, one where I could grow, help others, and make a difference. She smiled and said that dreams are built with patience, not luck. Her words stayed with me. From that day, I began to think more seriously about my future. I wanted to do something that combined my desire to learn and my wish to help others grow too. After work, I started volunteering at a community center where children came to study and play. I helped them with homework and taught them simple life skills. The first day I went there, I was nervous, but when I saw their smiles, I felt something change inside me. For the first time, I felt that my life was not only about me, but also about what I could give. Teaching those kids became one of the happiest parts of my week. It showed me that meaning is not found in big success, but in the quiet moments when you share what you know. Week by week, I continued working at the company, studying, and volunteering. My life was full and sometimes exhausting, but I loved it. I was no longer the shy boy who dreamed by the window. I was becoming the person I wanted to be, not perfect, but purposeful. Every small action, every new lesson, and every challenge became another piece of the life I wanted to build. As the years went by, I continued growing slowly but surely. My job became more stable, and my confidence grew with every challenge I overcame. The community center became a second home to me. I loved spending time there, helping children learn and discover their own dreams. Sometimes, I would tell them stories about my journey, about how hard work and patience can turn small beginnings into something meaningful. I could see in their eyes that they believed me, and that gave me even more motivation to keep going. One evening, Mrs. Turner called me into her office. She told me that she was opening a new branch of the company and wanted me to be part of the team that managed it. I was surprised and a little afraid because it was a big responsibility, but she said she trusted me. She reminded me that I had learned so much since the first day I joined, and that it was time to use those lessons in a bigger way. I accepted the offer, even though I knew it would not be easy. The new branch was in another town, so I had to move. Saying goodbye to my family and the children at the community center was emotional. They had become part of my story, and I knew I would miss them. But I also knew that life moves forward, and every new chapter brings new chances to grow. So I packed my bags and left, carrying not just my belongings, but also the lessons, memories, and hopes I had collected along the way. In the new town, things were different. I had to start again, meet new people, and adapt to a new environment. The first few months were stressful, but I used everything I had learned from my past experiences to stay calm and focused. I managed small teams, helped train new employees, and made sure the work environment was kind and organized. Sometimes I stayed late just to help others finish their tasks. I wanted everyone to feel valued because I knew what it felt like to start from the bottom. After 1 year, our branch began to grow. Sales increased, and our team became stronger. My boss praised our work, and I felt proud, not because of the title I had, but because of the effort behind it. I had built something from scratch, not just a job, but a life filled with learning, purpose, and connection. I remembered the young boy who used to stare at the sunset, dreaming of something better. Now I was living that dream, not a perfect life, but one I was shaping with my own hands every day. Sometimes, on quiet nights, I still think about my parents. My father's words about knowledge and freedom echo in my mind. I wish he could see how his advice changed my life. My mother's gentle voice also lives in my heart, reminding me that life is not about what we have, but what we build with what we have. And now, I truly understand what she meant. I have learned that building the life you want is not a one-time act. It is a journey of daily choices, small efforts, and faith in yourself, even when no one else believes. It means falling, standing up again, and continuing. No matter how slow the progress seems, the life I wanted to build was never about money or fame. It was about growth, meaning, and becoming someone who can give back to others. Today, I still wake up early to study and learn something new. I still visit community centers on weekends to teach children and share stories. And every time I see them smiling, I feel that I am exactly where I need to be. My dream is no longer something far away. It lives in my actions, my choices, and the people I help along the way. So, if you are listening to this story and wondering how to start building your own life, remember this. You do not need to have everything figured out. You just need to start one small step, one kind act, one lesson at a time. Over the years, those small moments will connect and shape the person you were meant to become. Thank you, my friends, for listening to the life I want to build. I hope this story inspires you to believe in your own path and to never stop learning. If you enjoy this story, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to English Story Learning for more stories that help you practice listening and improve your English every day. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep building the life you truly want.